And each of these datagrams, we can make it in two parts. One part on the left, we call it as a whole, and the right part, which is the parts of that whole. So the left part is, we call it form, what altogether, what is it, how is the shape of it, or what is it really. And substance is ingredients of that thing. So the left part is the thing itself, and the right part is the ingredients, what forms, what includes in that thing. So the left part, we have a list of attributes which describes something as a whole, and the right part describes that thing's parts, details. On the whole side, we have to say the definition. Attributes, when we say, we usually use definitions. Okay, what is a table? What is a door? What is a window? Or what is a rug? We have to say this is a rectangle, or it's made of glass, it's made of this, or find different attributes for that thing. So we put it. And also we put a name. This is called window. This is called tag. This is called black. This is called soft. So all has definition, and they have a name, and there is an action if there is changing by time. So anything affected by time, we call it action, is also should be recorded in as a whole. It's walking, it's changing, it's increasing, it's smalling, whatever is happening to that thing. In the right side, we put all the details or parts of that thing. It could be parts of it, which is visual or physical attributes. For example, we have these constants, magnetic constants, electrical constants of that person, or how soft is it or hard, or whatever. And also relational characteristics between parts. It goes in that side. So the minimum thing we have is a quarks, which on the right side also I should write quarks really. Although there is nothing on the right side, but we have put something always. So the small things, we have to make a solid thing, which is only one part, which is quarks, and that's the minimum if you want to go put the definition. We have to say 1 pixel entity. And the largest thing we have, if we want to forget about God, as we want just to speak about creations, so it will be the cosmos or the universe. It depends on which one you want to put it as definition and one as a name. And for example, it's expanding. It's what's happening to it. And the parts, we have all galaxies, planets, animals, things, everything in that. Parts of it is very big one. It has all sorts of things we can put in it, in that one. So altogether, we have only this type of representation. If you remember in previous lecture, which we were talking about the intelligence, we said it's a representation, how we want to put things to represent it or to show. So what we are saying here, we represent everything by two, a whole and parts. That's it. And we can, by this way, you can represent everything. Not only thing, we can represent also events, what's happening and what's changing. Now comes the point, okay, we have this information coming to our senses. Is computer automatically put this together all the time? We say no. There is a theory, which this book is based on it, and okay, we go for it, but this is not certain altogether. Whatever we are teaching here is not certain, because these are only some type of ideas which are using in artificial intelligence. It's probably other solutions is there, and certainly it will come, different solutions will come. So we have to talk only on one type as a basis, just to know what sort of things is discussed in artificial intelligence, but in reality we can have other solutions as well. In this one, it says, first of all, ourselves, let us understand ourselves. Our mind can only experience things by attending them one at a time. So anything, if we want to understand it, we have to break it in each event and say, okay, I understood it, I got it. Typically, you make around 20 attention transfers a second. So maximum thing you can understand is 20 things a second, which is, in computer terms, very slow, but okay, that's fast enough for us. And the magicians, by the way, they use this space between these 20, because 20 is not big one, and they use it, they do so fast that things happens between these 20 times, and we don't realize. And we say,
so they do 40 things in a second?
For example, yeah, 21, 22, it's a bit more. What the things that happens and we don't notice, it happens in that period which we don't notice. So, and also we have 3 eye movements a second. Interesting, only. And our eye changes always to get the information around, because focus is mainly on the center, but you can see others, but it's not focused. So it always changes, especially if there is a dangerous situation. It moves even faster just to check what's happening around it. It's interesting thing that okay, I don't know if it's here or not. I'll mention it on the time. Okay, we'll mention it. There is a system of priorities sets the attention stream. Okay, this is in computer, not in our mind. Let me see what is the next. Relationship and positions are all established. Attention moving from parent to component, again computer, and things bind to other things only through attention between parent and component. Okay, so basically based on the first point, which was our mind, what it does, it says that we can set up the information system in our computer, the programming, if you call it, behind it, how to deal with these datagrams, is that we, in order to understand what is the relation between these sort of data, if you remember, I said in data mining that sometimes too much information is a problem. You don't know what to do with them. And it's important that we put an order in this information. We classify them so we know what is this and what is that. And that's why we put a name for everything. And that's why children, they have to learn language. I mean, they don't, when they are born, they don't know language. And they can live without language. But they feel that force, that they need to express this from that. Because without expressing, the parent do not understand what they want. Just by ba, doesn't make sense. And we can't understand each other. So what we do, we just name these: table, chair, dad, mother, come, go, take, give. So all these are words which have a meaning in it. And that meaning is important because it saves time. By just one word we say, we know what's in it, and we can express and everything we can say. Okay, so how we can produce these concepts, we call it, of everything. The point in this book is based on a lady, Anne Trisman. She, in 1950s, a long time ago, she did, before computers any time, she did this research on human mind and how we can distinguish between visual things. And she came to this conclusion. First, it started with hearing, really, with hearing. What are when we have more than one sound, how our mind distinguishes between this one or that one, or is it important? It started from that. And then she worked more on visual side. And here we are using the next stage, almost final stages of all. What she says is that we should put our attention first, shortlist. Our mind, that's another point which it works fast only because we make it shortlist. That's another aspect which is important to know, and if you want to make it fast. When we listen to somebody talking, you are listening to me talking, it's your mind automatically, you notice or you don't notice, automatically when we hear something, it shortlists a word. Oh, you've seen it in Google now. When you type in your message, and as soon as you put the few characters, it can give you a suggestion. Do you want this? Do you want that? Three or four auto research. Okay, it does that because that's the way our mind works. So they are helping us as well. So what they do, they just by even sometimes you don't even give the word. Just you use the word. The next word is suggested because they know that this is related to that. Mm-hmm. So that's the way our mind works. It's always shortlist things which are more probable that you need, because computer is much faster than our response. I mean, when we talk, we want to type, we are very slow. The computer is faster. So in order to help us, so you can find the possibilities that we want to use, and it comes into forward and gives you suggestions about it. So this is the way priority we say it. So in every datagram, we can add another field to say the priorities for it. And that means what possibly I'm going to use. When it has a higher number, comes first. So when it comes first, you can select it, or you say, no, I don't want this, it's the next one. Okay, now the next one. And you find the one you want. And that situation, that feeling, you connect it to it. Yes, this is close to that, or this is the word I want. And then when you select it, it learns that that's the way you want to select. And next time, he selects it more. That's why each mobile is different from another mobile. When I use my name Ihsan, he knows, okay, next one is Shahristani, but the other one is John. It becomes different, Palmer. So because for each person, they know what is the priorities and what's different. The next step of categorizing, again, these are very basic. We want to give you only a rough idea, not very detailed, but the main points of how computer thinks and how artificial intelligence is working in making these things. So these are building blocks, really. They are not all the details. All details, if you want, you have to read the whole book. And again, this is written very simple again. You want more, certainly you have to work with that. I'll put the photo there.